A very close game. LeBron hits a clutch shot. And I sit there, and of all the myths in sports, the biggest bunch of nonsense may be, LeBron's not clutch. And I'm like, okay, the Warriors game, we've seen it now twice in the last 3 games where LeBron is super clutch. It is just complete mythology. And last night was a classic example, Nick. 2.5 minutes left. He really hit the shot of the game.
Well, and I mean, it's a trend. Listen, at this point, there is not a huge gap between the folks who claim LeBron James still has question marks about how clutch he is and flat earthers. It just doesn't matter the evidence you present to them. They are dug in. He has more buzzer beaters in playoff history than anyone ever. He shoots a better percentage on those buzzer beaters than anyone ever. He has more, if you want to define clutch as makes to tie or take the lead in the final minute of a playoff game. He has the most and the highest field goal percentage of any high-volume guy in the last 25 years. If you want to take it down to the final 24 seconds, he's the tops of that list as well. So LeBron in 2013 hit a 20-footer over Kawhi Leonard with 18 seconds left in Game 7 of the finals. Game 7 of the finals to win a title. That was 8 years ago, and people still question it. And they used to say, well, yeah, but LeBron's game winners are going to the basket. The one you're talking about was a Jordan-esque turnaround fadeaway to ice the game. Then he added that 3 right there to really ice the game. So, yeah, I mean, people can argue about it, but it's not a difference of opinion. It's just one side is right and the other side is dumb.
I want to move off that series for a second and talk about the Clippers, because Joy and I have been on this for a month.
Yes.
You cannot solve your dilemmas in the playoffs. If you have a bad bullpen in the regular season, you're not going to solve it against better teams in the postseason. And I watch the Clippers, and I'm like, okay, they're bad late. And what's more disturbing is they're supposed to be, this is the second year, Dallas isn't even a good defensive team, and they're not good late. Or is this series as simple as Luke is the best player and they can't stop him?
Well, it's all of the above. Listen, Luka is on his way to being one of the 10 greatest players ever. At 22 years old, LeBron, their game is very similar, even though athletically they're different. LeBron was 22 when he took that Cavs team in his second playoff run ever to the finals. I don't think Luka's going to take this Mavs team to the finals, but he is going to take him to the second round. He has played 8 playoff games. They have all been against the Clippers, a Clippers team that supposedly has the best collection of wing defenders in basketball, and he's averaging 32, 10, and 9. They've stopped him once in 8 games, and they had to maim his ankle to do it. The Mavs could have beat him last year, but Jalen Brunson didn't play, and Kristaps got hurt 3 games in. So, listen, Luka's the best player. But the Clippers are also a very poorly built team. Kawhi had the best half of his life last night, was fine in the second half. Paul George was good throughout. So why did they lose? Because Nick Batum was, according to advanced metrics, the worst player in the NBA last year, playing for the Hornets. He's in their crunch time 5. Reggie Jackson's never been good in the playoffs. He's in their crunch time 5. They're going to Terrence Mann for a boost. Patrick Beverley is undersized and bad on offense. Ivica Zubac's feet are in quicksand, and he's bad on defense. They don't have a good roster. They haven't had a good roster for 2 years. And Kawhi could have stayed in Toronto and defended his title. He could have gone home to LA and played with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Instead, he chose to go to, arguably, the worst historical franchise in the NBA's history, had them trade everything they had for Paul George, and what he's going to get out of it 2 years in is 1 playoff series victory. That's it. Because this is over. They are getting smoked. They have no answers. It's mortifying for all involved. And it's even worse, more so, and I know Joy's been pointing this out, if they just beat the Thunder in Game 72, they get the Blazers. The Blazers haven't beaten them in 3 years.
Yeah.
They opted for this, and Luka is putting them in a torture chamber every single night.
I picked Milwaukee to win it all because we've dismissed them, so there's no pressure. And I do think Drew Holiday and P.J. Tucker allow Chris Middleton to be good and not special, because I don't think he is special. So now he can just be a shot maker, 19 a game, instead of demanding he offer 29 a game if Giannis isn't good late. What do you make of the legacy Giannis right now? Because most people like the Sixers or the Nets to win the East, meaning Giannis again would fail. Where are we on Giannis today?
Well, I think Giannis has the most to gain legacy-wise of anyone in the playoffs that has a realistic shot of winning the title. So Giannis is 26. He's won 2 league MVPs. He's won a Defensive Player of the Year award. If he wins the title, he will have won a title younger than Jordan, younger than LeBron. And if he wins the title this year, he will have gone through the defending Eastern Conference champions, Jimmy Butler and Heat culture, KD, Harden, Kyrie in round 2, Joel Embiid in round 3, and then LeBron and Anthony Davis in round 4. That is how you would, beyond a shadow of a doubt, no questions asked, become the face of the league, the best player in the league, and start truly building an all-time resume. And they've got a real shot at it. I've got Philly coming out of the East, but I also have Milwaukee beating Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And what I am excited for next round is this. When has Giannis struggled in the playoffs? Well, 2 years ago against Toronto, when Toronto had a Kawhi Leonard that was still interested in playing defense. Last year against Miami, Miami has Bam, maybe the single best suited player to defend Giannis in the whole league. Next round, everyone's like, oh, you just build a wall. You have to build a wall with actual masonry, with bricks, with Kawhi, with Bam. The Nets don't have the personnel to build that wall. So I think Giannis is coming up on a playoff series where he's going to average 35 points per game. And I agree with you. I think they'll beat the Nets. I don't know if they'll beat Philly, but I think he has more to gain than anybody left in the playoffs.
So I said this with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron historically doesn't like to be disliked. He can be a little thin-skinned. It's not a criticism. It's a reality. I've got proof multiple times. Mark Murphy is not budging according to reports. He's not budging. Aaron, to this point, not only no-showed OTAs, so does 5 top receivers. It's orchestrated. My question is, now he's not only losing money, he's going to lose the Packer fans. I heard a radio show yesterday. It was 10 out of 10 calls were anti-Aaron. Does he have the stomach for this is my only question. Your thoughts on what happened yesterday where Aaron no-shows, the top 5 receivers don't show for the Packers. Where do we sit today?
Well, I think, listen, you have a lot more experience with this than I do because you have businesses and you have ventures and you're a legit businessman. I just talk about nonsense for a living. Who wins a negotiation is who has the stronger stomach. Does Aaron Rodgers have a stronger stomach to be disliked than Mark Murphy has to have a season go up in smoke? That's the question here. Because Mark Murphy can solve this. It might not be fair. It might be it might not be righteous. But if he just fires Gutekunst, Rodgers is back. Rodgers, to me, made that very clear in the Kenny Mayne interview when he was like, it's about how you treat people. It's about the people, and I love my teammates. I love my coaches. I love this. I love that. And so the question is he willing to take this to the wall? Russell Wilson wasn't. When people thought he potentially might want out of Seattle, he wanted things to get smoothed over. Aaron right now seems very happy hanging out in Hawaii, if you want to see some of these Instagram videos with his fiance. To me, Colin, the more interesting thing is this. Jordan Love last year was the inactive third quarterback for game day, and he was the third quarterback in practice. Couldn't even get ahead of Tim Boyle, which means he didn't look good last year. Colin, what if at OTAs Jordan Love looks terrible? And Matt LaFleur goes to Mark Murphy and is like, I'm just letting you know, I'll coach whoever you give me,